Hello guys, welcome to As a Sport, and today I'm going to be talking about the Big Bash. I'm going to be previewing Game 10 of the BBL 12 season between the Brisbane Heat and the Melbourne Renegades. So let's get into it. So first of all, I'm going to get into the teams. So Brisbane Heat's lineup looks like this. So they made two changes. They've got Jimmy Pearson as their captain, Xavier Bartlett, James Bazley, Sam Billings, Josh Brown, Max Bryant, Matt Kuhneman, Colin Munro and Michael Nisa has come back into the squad for Nathan McSweeney, and Matt Renshaw has also come back after just recently having his baby. For Spencer Johnson, Mark Steckity, Mitch Swepson and Ross Whiteley. They're UK import. So that's a pretty stock standard team there for the Heat. I mean, they've only had one game this year, so we haven't been able to get a full gauge on how well they're playing, but they've got a decent team, but they've lost some quality, like Chris Lynn, who's gone to the Strikers, and Majib's gone to the Renegades, who I'll mention in a second. But yeah, I mean, they've got a decent team, but I feel like they're short of batsmen. They need a few more batsmen, more quality batsmen. Bowlers-wise, they're fine. But yeah, I mean, they're a decent team this year. The Heat are my team, so they're decent. But yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to go this year, but we'll see. So yeah, that's the Heat. Renegades squad we have here. In Nick Maddinson, who's the skipper, Aaron Finch, Fraser McGurk, Harper, Harvey, Hussain, the import, he's been pretty good for them, Moody, Richardson, Rocchioli, Rogers, Andre Russell, Sutherland, Mujeeb Rahman, who's gone there from the Heat, and John O'Wells from the Strikers. So yeah, yet again, so the Renegades are unchanged from their last game, so they have done very well this year. They're unbeaten. They've looked absolutely amazing. Like, they've improved a lot from last season, when you could see last season when things got a little bit hard for them, they kind of gave up. But this year, they've got a good team where they've got a lot of good batsmen and they've got a really good bowling attack that can back them up, so they can win from either situation. They can win by batting or win by defending their score. They proved that against the Heat, where they looked like they were going to implode against the Heat in their first game in Cairns, when they had quite a few wickets fall around them. But they had Nick Maddinson, who put on a partnership, and they just managed to get through it, and they defended well by bowling well. Like Hussain, he's been amazing in this tournament so far. He's the import. He's been absolutely amazing. He bowls really well. He's hard to pick, and he doesn't give away many boundary deliveries, so he's very good for them. I mean, Rahman, who's gone from years at the Heat, he's been our best player for years. He's finally left us, and he's gone to the Renegades. And he hasn't made a huge impact yet this season, but he will eventually. And he's been pretty solid for them. Like, he hasn't been horrible. He's been pretty solid. You know what you're getting with Mujeeb. Yeah, and Finch has come back to form. He made an unbeaten 71 in their last game to chase down the Thunders. 175 just 2 days ago, so he's back in form, which is very good for him and the Renegades. Maddinson's obviously been in form. He's done pretty well so far this year as a skipper, so he's leading by example. And as I mentioned, Hussain, he's been very good for them. And I mean, their whole squad's been pretty good. That's why they're 3 from 3 and they're second on the ladder at the moment. Whereas the Heat, they've only played one game. They've looked decent. I mean, Jimmy Pearson as captain, he's looked pretty good. Their bowling attack is decent. It's nothing fantastic, but it's very decent. I think our batsmen's our biggest problem. Like, our top 3 batsmen, I'd say, are Pearson, who comes in at like number 5, Billings, who's like the 3rd, and Munro and Whiteley. And I mean, Max Bryant, he hasn't been in form for years. I really think the Heat should drop him and bring in someone else, because he just he hasn't been in form for a long time, and he doesn't get enough big scores. He gets out for like 30s and 40s too often. He doesn't go on with it. He just gets out playing stupid shots a lot. So yeah, my opinion, I would probably drop him for someone else. But yeah, I mean, Nisa's now come back for us, so that's good for us. That bolsters our bowling calibre. He's come back from the test squad, and as I said before, Matt Renshaw is back in our team after he just had his recent baby, so congrats to him. Yeah, so this should be a really interesting game. It's going to be played in Geelong, so that favours the Renegades instantly, because they have a really good record there, and the Heat have not won a game there. So it's going to be very difficult for us. But I think we can get the job done down there. With Nisa coming back in and Renshaw coming back in, they bolster our team a bit. So I think we can get the job done. I think we'll win by a couple of wickets, because I think we'll be chasing again. Because I think we back our ability to defend our score, to chase the score rather than defend it. So I think if we do win the toss, we'll bat first, I think. Or bowl first, sorry, because I think we'll fancy our chances better when we chase the scores down, because the Heat are well known for their batting powers, not really their bowling powers. So, but yeah, I mean, Chris Lynn's been a massive loss for us, obviously, but even he's really struggled. Even at the strikers, the last couple of seasons, he hasn't really been himself. He's struggled for the last few years, because teams are starting to figure out his weakness. They just bring on spinners against him, and he seems to really struggle against spinners. He always really has. He hasn't really ever really excelled against spinners. But teams have finally figured that out, and now he's really struggling. So yeah, in terms of my predictions, yeah, I mean, the boundaries of that ground in Geelong are very short squares, so that's where most of the boundaries will come from, mid-wicket and over cover, and probably straight back down the ground as well, some of them. But yeah, I think it's going to be a very close game again. Their first game these two sides played this year, the Renegades won by 22 runs. So they were just a little bit too good, but I think the Heat will get revenge. I think my team will get the revenge. I think we'll win by 5 wickets. I think we'll lose a few wickets at the top, and then we'll rebuild. And we'll get the job done, I think. But yeah, I think we'll win by 5 wickets. I think Jimmy Peirson will probably go close to making another half century. That's the thing with Jimmy Peirson. He's not really like a fantastic player, but he's just a very solid player. He's very good with the gloves, and he's very handy with a bat, and he's probably our best player, to be honest. That's why he's our captain. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully Munro can get a good start for us, and hopefully Sam Billings too can have a good game for us as their second game, because their first games were pretty average for both of them. So hopefully they can be better for us, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so my prediction is Heat will win by 5 wickets tonight. I reckon it'll come down to the last 2 overs. So yeah, that's my prediction.